Hello everyone, Rizzy Toothpick here, back again with some more Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot's The First Cases, and last time we investigated who of the guests might have killed the Major, and now we're going to talk to Head Butler Sterling.
Certainly. What do you need?
There's nothing further for me to investigate in here. Would you kindly gather the guest for me?
As you wish, detective.
It seems there is no simple explanation for what happened here. The Major's popularity amongst the guests does not seem to be very high. There are still many questions that must be asked. Alrighty. And we made it to chapter 4. The Interrogation.
The guests are waiting for you, detective. I informed them of what has happened, but divulged no details.
There goes my opportunity to catch one of them off guard. No matter, I have more than one weapon in my armory.
I am most grateful. Madame Van Bosch is here also?
She's in her room with Miss Angeline. It may be better to speak with them privately tomorrow.
Oui, merci. I shall come find you again once my questioning is complete.
The guest alibis are my priority. Once I can confirm their whereabouts this evening, I can understand who had an opportunity. Alrighty. I have my lead suspects from the evidence at the scene of the crime. Perhaps those will change after speaking with them all. Let me just get rid of all the exclamation points and let us begin. Is there in a specific order? Nope. I guess we'll start with Zach over here.
I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
So the Major was murdered?
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
Besides speaking with me, tell me about your movements before dinner.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to him.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
Alrighty.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
So he's saying he's been here the whole time. Let me clear that up. Let us talk to Hugo, who was kind of rude to us when we were talking to him last time.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Detective Poirot is perfect. Merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot.
Can you tell me where you were prior to dinner?
I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising. And then I made my way to the library.
Well, you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants brought me a drink and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you and the servant.
Strange that he does not seem to recall seeing Monsieur de Silva in the library.
And you are sure there was no one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Detective. You were there.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Alrighty. Still no links, but I'll get rid of that. Let us talk to De Silva. Oh no, it's Ernesto.
Monsieur de Silva, merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
And then we'll ask where he was.
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
Yeah, you got to remember Hugo's a union and Ernesto is a big
Merci
business owner.
for your cooperation.
They do not get along. Clear his up. I enjoy though that like most of everyone's in here.
Monsieur Demir, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
Besides your time in the hall, where were you before we were summoned to the dining room?
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Okay. We do have a link here with Gideon here. So first off, we can say that these two are connected.
What a revelation!
Just to say that, yes, both of them were indeed in the salon. They confirm each other's appearance in the... Yep. Pretty simple. But we know that these two at least didn't kill the Major, but they might have had a part to play. Or they're lying, one or the other.
Comtesse, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Comtesse.
Well, it's at the top of mine, detective. I did not come here for a wake.
And she seems to be okay with the murder.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie.
We spoke earlier. Did you remain here in the saloon until dinner was served?
I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Another to notice Monsieur Demir's drinking, and yet no one seems concerned.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Okay. Oh, and there's 2 links from her. Okay. Zachariah went missing. Let me stop linking here. Let me just say Gideon was present, Gideon saw, because these two are probably together.
Magnifique.
Margot and Gideon confirm each other's appearance. Yep. And then the other one will be this one. It's either going to be this one or this one.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a sec. This will not get
Yep.
me any closer.
One
to
or
my
the
goal.
other. So now we should know that it's these three.
Is
No.
there something I have?
Never mind. Oh, well, eventually I was going to work my way down, apparently. We have to connect Zachariah and Gideon.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Margot claims Zachariah stepped out of the room, but Gideon did not mention it. Was his missing time accounted for? Talk to Zachariah again. But before we do that, we will talk to Jackie.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, Mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
Please, Mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Give us that alibi. Tell me about your evening since your arrival.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Mademoiselle Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Monsieur Beckers, but a hint at reading about it in the newspaper makes me believe it may be of a much grander nature than I expected.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Alrighty, so now we've talked to everyone in here, and there's 3 connections. So I know Jackie and Hugo are going to be connected.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Jackie and Hugo confirm each other's appearance in the library. Then we can connect these two as well.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
They confirm each other's appearance in the library. Now the biggest question is where does this one fit in? I don't think these two, but I don't think it'd be something like this. It might be.
I must take a different approach if I am to...
Or you know, it might actually be these two.
Order and method. That is the way to...
Let me see.
Come, my little grey cells.
Those two. Ernesto was lurking in library, spoke with Jackie and myself.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
They're not difficult, but some of these you like look at them and you're like, all right, they can connect to multiple ones. What's the correct one? Hugo failed to mention seeing Ernesto in the library. So talk to Hugo and talk to Zachariah. Let's talk to Hugo first and then we'll talk to Zachariah.
Whatever you require, Detective.
Your story of tonight's events.
I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
Oh, then tell me what you were talking about.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Monsieur Beckers is courageous and full of vigor in his planning, but his execution does not share such confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Okay. We have another connection there. So Hugo saw Ernesto briefly. He was in the library.
I must act on thought and fact.
It's going to be either one of these three.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Go down. I've been very unlucky in this one.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Yep, of course, it's always the easier ones that you miss. Hugo and Ernesto now confirm each other's appearance in a library.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Hugo, Ernesto, and Jackie support each other's versions of events. Someone else must be responsible, surely. Alrighty. Let us talk to Zachariah.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Talk about his events.
I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon.
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Alrighty. Now we just need to talk to head butler Sterling. We can clear these out. So the only one so far that might be involved in this room is Zachariah.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
Okay, and now we can connect them to Zachariah's absence covered by head butler. Maybe these two?
I must act on thought and fact, not on it.
Because I don't think it'd be like, yeah, you couldn't connect those two together. See here. Yeah, he confirmed seeing him.
Is there something I am not seeing?
Or actually these two. Zachariah was briefly missing.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Got it. Archibald confirmed Zachariah movements out of the saloon, however brief.
What a revelation.
And we figured it out. Absent time accounted for. Gideon, Zachariah, and Marg were all in the saloon, at least for some time altogether. Surely someone else is to blame. Even with some minute differences in stories, the guests all confirm each other's alibis. It is not the outcome I was expecting or perhaps hoping for. And we cleared this one up. Come, my little gray cells, let us solve this mystery. That did not yield the results I desired. Perhaps a more direct approach, considering their potential motives, will reveal more. Now we gotta talk to everyone again, I guess, and see what we can find.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him, except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get the sense you and Monsieur Gideon are not the closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
Perfectly.
There's certainly some hostility towards his brother. This runs much deeper than brotherly rivalry.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Okay, let's see what's going on there. We'll clear that up. If we talk to Gideon, we'll probably get a connection between the two.
Whatever you require, detective.
How do you know the victim?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Your connection to the family is through Monsieur Demire?
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
You seem to hold a certain level of, shall we say, anger towards the Major.
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I barely mentioned the Major, and Monsieur Beckers became rather flustered and defensive. Are there plans for a negotiation with Monsieur de Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gideon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
Oh, okay, his brother, I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them. When was the last time you saw the Major?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Okay. No connections, but we'll get rid of all of that. Wants us to talk to Zachariah again. But before we do that, we'll talk to everyone else.
More questions? I suppose so.
Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
The negative opinion of the Major is rather ambiguous. I am yet to meet someone with a particularly positive view of him. Why don't you tell me more about your relationship with Madame van den Bosch?
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
You said you had talked with the Major a few times about what exactly?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there's no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Both you and the Major have been very supportive of Madame van den Bosch over the years.
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
So he's lying to us because he does expect like some relationship with her. He was talking to the Major in writings.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
I may need to approach this in a different manner. Perhaps I should speak with the Comtesse on this.
Merci for your cooperation.
Okay, he's done. No connections there. Talk to Jackie and talk to the Comtesse. Alright, we're working that way.
No trouble at all. How can I help?
With the join of your two families and the Major being around so much, I assume you knew him well.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
I spoke with your brother earlier. He was certainly enjoying himself.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
Oh, what the hell? That's a big old lie. I do not know how he could not have noticed the state his brother was in. Perhaps one does not see what one does not want to believe. How is your relationship with your brother?
We aren't the closest, but what brothers are?
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
There's clearly more to uncover here. I shall return to the matter when I have the fuel that is required to get the answers. I'd like to ask about your work with the Union.
I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
It appears Monsieur's letters was at least written with noble intentions, but he is still hesitant to talk more of the Major's association.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Man, really no links here. We do have to talk to Zachariah, though.
I am all yours, detective.
Did you ever speak to the Major about how he treated Madame Van den Bosch?
Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Countess.
Wise thinking, detective.
I'm sure you have noticed Madame Van den Bosch's absence.
I imagine she will have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him.
I don't know who has the sharper tongue, Madame Van den Bosch or the Comtesse. It is certainly a close race for first place. What of Madame Van den Bosch and Monsieur de Silva's relationship?
What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, detective, I am not one to gossip.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that is exactly correct, but the Comtesse has made a bold attempt to justify her wagging tongue.
Why else do you think he would stay around for so long? Yes, he was a friend and partner to the Viscount, but it is plain to see it is Cassandra's partnership he longs for.
You have explained that the Major was trying to remain close to the family, but not why.
He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame Van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
The Comtesse has certainly opened my eyes to the Major's true ambition with the Van den Bosch family. I wonder if Madame herself is aware of his greed and hunger for social recognition.
Merci, Comtesse. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Alrighty. Get rid of all these, and then let us talk to Jackie.
You came to the right place. What do you need?
What did you know of the victim?
I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
Mademoiselle Conrad is wise to the nature of this question. She knows exactly what and what not to say. This nut may be harder to crack than first expected. As you were previously speaking with him, I assume you know Monsieur Beckers as well, then.
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
A man suppressing his anger and a murdered body. The most amateur detective could see a connection. You seem to know a great deal about everyone. What can you tell me about Monsieur de Silva and Mademoiselle Bosch?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
What are your thoughts on the Comtesse? I'd appreciate your opinion on her.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
I can only see the work at a woman's shelter as positive, even if the reason to start came from a selfish place. The work they do cannot be scoffed at.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Alrighty. So we have two connections with Jackie. So Cassandra more than a friend to Ernesto's and Cassandra's relationship. Maybe those go together.
Magnifique.
Perhaps Ernesto had hidden his secret love well. We can use this to our advantage. We need to talk to Ernesto again. And what would be the last one here? Hugo's frustration. With Hugo claims to have calmed down.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Hugo claims to have calmed down since his argument with the Major, but Jackie disputes this. Alrighty, we're back to 0 here. So we need to talk to the Comtesse again. And then we need to talk to Ernesto. We need to talk to Zachariah. And that should do it. But we're going to stop there today, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links below. And then the next one, we will investigate our potential suspects some more.